And yes, I got them again. What can I say? I
That
just
was
love
good.
starting it right in the middle of them talking.
That was good, man. I'm not even worried about it. My
Welcome
feelings are
everybody to
hurt.
No.
welcome everybody to the Friday evening, the
Hey, y'all.
Spooktober. I gotta love Spooktober.
Creepy-tober.
Oh, yes.
Con hour Spooktober. I've come to
Yeah,
that conclusion.
I like that.
But it has been raining and raining and raining here. I think we've gotten about 3 inches at least here. I don't know
Wow.
about y'all.
We got
I
quite a
got
bit.
some. Wasn't bad at work today, but we got a lot around here at home.
Yeah, we finally got it. We haven't been getting. You guys kept saying you had storms. We had nothing until today.
Well, the branches are just falling left and right. Had one actually land right next to me and my wife while we were sitting outside, and it hit a flower pot. It was like a gunshot going off. It was like both
that would have
just
given me
jumped.
heart failure.
Oh, my goodness.
I would have had heart
But-
failure.
We had rain this morning, but now it's like, sunny skies.
Sunny
Lost someone.
skies.
Gotta love
Oh,
the
Lordy.
state, man. You gotta love it.
But definitely want to welcome our guest here today, Steve Andreno, the costume actor for
Monsters need love
Baboo.
too.
Thank you. I know people don't recognize me like this, so anybody that's not sure, if you remember original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that's me.
Yes.
Now, of course, the toy came out before I started doing the show. I was on the show all of seasons 2 and 3, but it took me about 6 months to actually find the toy, the action figure. That's how
Wow.
big they were back then, right from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
The show took off, and it just got insane.
Okay, so I want to open. I have a question, and you are totally allowed to be biased, okay?
Wait. You guys are asking me questions? Now, hey, nobody told me that.
I know. Okay, this is super easy, though, and it's just because I'm this way. What was your favorite Power Ranger? You can just tell me the color, because honestly, I don't know their names, but colors work really well with me. So, which one was your favorite, if you had one?
Here's what I will say. As the monster I didn't get to work with them very much.
Okay.
I wasn't a fighting monster. I don't know martial arts. I didn't have to, do all the karate moves and stuff like that.
Nice.
Having said it, the one I worked with the most, and pretty much every male under the age of 25's favorite, was Kimberly, the original Pink Ranger. Although I did
nice.
They need a purple one.
But I did actually. There was no purple one.
I said they need one.
Well, yeah, that's it. You can be the purple.
I'm good with that.
I really did
Working
like
on
when Amy Jo Johnson, AJ, the one that played Kimberly, left. They brought on Catherine Sutherland to play Cat, and she started off as a villain. And I appreciate that very much. But then they turned her good. So
nice. Okay, I wasn't expecting that answer. I like that. That is a good.
Now see that's Amy's question of asking what color Power Ranger should she go to Beaumont?
Pretty much. That was
well,
why. That's why.
Pink is appropriate for you as well, just from having met you.
Purple.
Let's say Pink is not quite as tall as the rest of them. We'll put it that way.
Oh, hey, why you got to bring height into
Amy, good things come in small packages. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, no, that is true. No, wait, you fixed it. Okay, you got yourself out of that hole.
Oh,
let's be real.
My wife's 5'1". I get it.
I know. I could wear heels and make it look good. You just never know. No, I'm just playing. That would hurt my feet all day. So I'm all about the one that's recording.
Hi, Stephanie.
All for it.
Hey, Steph.
But
I'm still saying we need a purple. I'm just saying. I don't like pink.
You and your purples.
I
think
yellow. What's wrong with
I
yellow?
think I am going to get
pink.
with
when they make these shirts, the hunting shirts, and they've got pink camouflage. I'm like, I'm not hunting flamingos. Why would there be pink on the hunting shirt? I don't like pink. I hated it.
Why not do the yellow?
I am going to get with Wendell.
Yellow, I can do purple.
I'm going to have a Goldar outfit made.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I'm going to get with Wendell, and we're going to have a Goldar outfit made.
Awesome.
You saw what Goldar looks like finally?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And he's basically a dragon, and what can I say? I write fantasy books, so that's just fit for me.
For most of season 1, he didn't have the wings. When I joined the show at the beginning of season 2 and Lord Zed took over, one of the things that Lord Zed did from the first episode was give him back his wings.
Now, see, I just earned my wings.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Oh,
So,
don't say
can you
that.
explain the monsters need love too? Because I
Okay.
use that as a hashtag, and I want everyone to understand why I use that as a hashtag. Yes, but can you
Monsters
explain
need love
it?
too. Okay, I will explain it. So I did a show a couple of years ago, Comic-Con in Pasadena. They did it's called Power Morphicon Express. Power Morphicon is a huge every other year Power Ranger only convention in California. It's humongous.
I didn't even know there was a thing.
They just wanted to start trying to bring it around to other parts of the country, so they did a smaller version of the show. And I ended up at the show kind of last minute. And of course, most of the people that go to conventions is the Rangers. Everybody wants to see the Rangers.
Uh-oh.
I think
Because I was a last minute ad, I wasn't Actor Alley or Celebrity Alley, if you will. I was around the corner. I was really the first booth of Artist Alley. But when you walked into the con, if you walked in the door on the right, I was the first booth you saw, basically. So I was thrilled with that anyway. And I was seated next to an artist by the name of Matt Frank, who's well known for doing kaiju, Godzilla monsters. And then next to him was a gentleman by the name of Gaz Gretzky, who I've become good friends with, who also does Power Rangers and kaiju, Godzilla type stuff. And everyone was talking about, I can't wait to see this Ranger. I'm here as they're walking, and I want to see this Ranger. And I'm like, hey, the monsters need some love too. Kind of joking around. And I'm like, you know what? But it just kind of stuck with me after that. I just kept saying, the monsters is what made the show to me. And I explain it this way. If you have a monster, but no superheroes, no good guys, you have a monster movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bunch of superhero good guys, cops, whatever, but no bad guy. What do you have? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Would be
There's
kind
no
of boring.
conflict. There's nothing about it. The monsters are the important part of the show.
That's called a rom-com. That's what that's
Never thought of that.
There's no monsters in a rom-com, okay?
There you go. Well, but see, now you got to figure out how to make a monster rom-com. Because if the monsters need love too, we got to have them trying to meet each other.
A theme of monsters for a Comic-Con. Just completely, just monsters and all villains, like a villain monster Comic-Con.
There again,
I could dig that. I could go as like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Scream,
Baboo.
out there. Could do it. Chainsaw Massacre guy. I don't know his name, but we could do it.
There's a lot of really good bad guys out there.
Right. They tend to go more horror, like you said. But like I said, I was one of the bad guys that wasn't really a bad guy because I didn't fight them. And it's funny when I talked, the first interview I ever did was with Gaz Gretzky on his channel, Action Activate, if I can shout him out a little bit. And while we were discussing, they did an episode of their shows, Gaz and Big Dog is his co-host. And they were talking about, they did like the D&D alignment chart for Power Rangers, who's lawful good, who's chaotic evil, who's this and that. And they started off with true neutral. And Gaz mentioned that, I would say Finster, because Finster was the one that created all the other monsters for original Mighty Morphin. And the thought there was that Finster didn't really care who he was making the monsters for. He was just an artist and wanted to do his thing. So he didn't care what the purpose was. There's plenty of episodes where he even told Rita, look, this isn't going to be quite what you think, or this isn't going to do, I don't know if this one's strong enough. You can't use this for too long. So he tried to correct her on a couple of things, and she wouldn't listen to him. So he was kind of like, you know what, I'm doing my own thing. That's all I care about. And then I said, well, technically, because I'd come to the realization that Squat and Baboo, since we were always together, we're toddlers. We're like 5-year-olds. We're out there. Daddy's out in the driveway fixing the car, and we want to help. So how can we help? Well, we're not going to get under there and start, turning bolts and stuff. We can hand Daddy tools. That's basically what Squat and Baboo did. We were the gophers. Go find this. I need you to, the first episode I ever filmed, even though it didn't make the final cut, Squat and I were on the beach. We had to dig up and find the evil power coins. So we're there digging them up. And the first day I'm on set as the monster and I'm being all, we got, being all evil. And they're like, cut. You haven't watched the show yet, have you? And I'm like, well, no, I just, I was on set as an extra, Thursday and Friday of last week. You told me Thursday you were going to call me Monday to play the monster Tuesday. I didn't have really time to watch it. Like, well, no, not that kind of monster. Think more goofy, more silly, more, I'll do whatever you say, but kind of thing. So I thought about that and like, you can't really pin good or evil on a little kid who doesn't have the ability to fully understand the concept of good or evil or lawful or chaotic. Mm-hmm. So we decided that Squat and Baboo and Finster, all three, were basically true neutral. We're kind of open slate. If we ended up working for Zordon and Zordon sent us on the missions, we'd all be like, yeah, let's go. It'd be the same thing. So yes, I played a monster. Yes, I played a villain, but not really. And that's also why I said, the monsters need love too. We're not out. I wasn't out to be evil or mean or fighting. I was just like, I just was on the wrong team and didn't know any better.
It's like they picked you and you just went over.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Okay, I'm doing this now. Okay, great.
Like you're going to turn it down. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Now, with costume acting, being from Texas, we understand heat. Mm-hmm. And you've told us a few stories about heat.
Yes.
Those costumes have really got to be hot.
It's basically a bunch of foam rubber with latex paint on top of it, so they do not breathe at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, the costume that I wore was the original costume from the original Sentai series in Japan. So it sat in a box for however many years before it got shipped over. There were a couple of scenes.
It smelled lovely.
Oh yeah, basically you get the set that you have a set of black spandex, from ankles all the way up to put on first. Of course, I had to be in makeup first. I had to be in makeup at 5:30 a.m. so we could start shooting by 7.
Ew.
And there's times I'd get there. There's times I'd get there 5:30 in the morning, go through makeup, and not get in the camera in front of the camera till after lunch.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Now, I am not a morning person, so I don't know if you want to meet me at 5:30 in the morning because I don't think I'm going to have anything nice to say until I've had my coffee. So, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Like my husband knows not to talk to me until I've been up for at least 2 hours. Otherwise, I may speak in a coherent sentence after about an hour and a half, but other than that, I growl.
My coffee's brewing at 5:30.
No.
Here's the worst part of that. Because Rangers was non-union, they didn't shoot in Hollywood. Yeah. They shot north of Hollywood in a town called Valencia. Anybody that knows Southern California, the studio was about 5 minutes from Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live in LA. I lived in Orange County. I lived and worked across the street from Disneyland. So it was 75 miles one way for me to get to the studio at 5:30 in the morning. I used to leave my house at 4 o'clock. I left at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I know that traffic
even
out there.
Real time? Seriously?
Yes.
That traffic out there is horrid.
It is. It definitely is, and never going to get any better.
No. It's kind of like the Katy freeway out here. I-10 that way. No.
No.
I don't mind going out towards that way on Sundays when I'm going to church, but during the week, no.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely.
Yeah, no.
That makes me tired just thinking about it.
So what was your favorite part of being Baboo?
My favorite part?
Yeah.
Besides just doing, because like I said, by the time I got on the show, everybody knew it was a huge hit. That's how I even signed up for it in the first place. So I kept all my sides. Basically, what the sides are, for people that don't know, is when you're filming anything, you have a script. You have the script for the whole TV show or the movie. If it's a movie, 120-page script. Well, they don't you get the whole script, but when you arrive on set to shoot that day, they have copies of just the scenes you're going to be shooting. So there may be 3 different scenes, and it may be, a scene from 10 minutes into the movie, a scene from halfway through, and then scene from 5 minutes from the end. Those could happen to be the 3 scenes you're shooting the same day. So they just give you the script that relates to those scenes only, what's called sides. So you know what to study up before you get in front of the camera.
Is that confusing?
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all.
I'm a chronological person. That's why I'm like, to me, that would throw my OCD off.
You and Woody Allen. Woody Allen always wants to shoot his movies beginning to end, but no, you expect TV. You can't. There's no way you could do TV chronologically. It's too hard.
Yeah.
So when I would shoot, when I first got the job and was told that it was a regular monster and I was going to be a regular on the show, I said, well, how often do we shoot? They said we could knock out 5 episodes, the monster scenes of the 5 episodes in studio in about 2 days. Maybe 3.
Wow.
Nice.
And then if I needed to be on location, if they needed to be on location, that would just be whatever was on location for that one day. So, I mean, the way we were treated by everybody, I enjoyed doing it. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I would have loved to have had that lead to many other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I got called in to do a lot of other things, other appearances that even the Rangers didn't do. For example, I got called in one day. They wanted me to appear at the Fox Network Executive Board of Directors meeting at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
For what?
They wanted me as a monster.
Huh.
I'll explain. Now, again, we're going back. This is 94. So this is before. I'm sorry, this was 95 because we had already gone through the first 2, not quite 2 full seasons. This is when they announced that they were going to be making the movie at this meeting first. But back in 1995, before we had PowerPoint, we actually had slideshows for presentations.
Mm-hmm.
They decided, as just to kind of be funny, the guy that was on stage presenting, a couple of words he said first, and then says, okay, let's start the show. They had me as a different monster, not as Baboo, so I didn't have to do the face makeup. Walk in with the slide trays in a monster costume.
Okay.
The presenter up on stage says, oh no, and to be honest, I don't remember what monster I was playing. He ducks behind the curtain, and a split second later, somebody in the Power Ranger suit comes out and is like, you out of here now, or it's going, so he starts doing it like he's getting ready to fight me. I throw the slide trays up in the air and I run out of the room. That was it. That was the whole day.
You were supposed to throw the
literally in the
slide trays
costume.
up?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
because they were dummy
I'm like,
slide trays, not with the real
because
slides.
I'm like imagining you doing that and just throwing. I'm like going, oh.
No. They said, these are not the slides we're using. Throw them up as high as you can. We want them to kind of spill everywhere and give the execs kind of a funny laugh, thrill kind of thing. So I got paid a full day's pay and lunch at the Beverly Hilton Hotel to
Nice. Throw slides in the air.
basically, be in costume for 5 minutes. And Mombirella, thank you so much. I appreciated you giving me my little impromptu interview, and I hope to see you at some of the cons around here soon.
That was a fun Comic-Con, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was wonderful. Well, so what I found out at the show, besides being one of the first people to know that they were talk of doing the movie, was how much money the show actually made. From August of 1993, when Power Rangers debuted on Fox, through the end of 1994. So it's about a 17-month period, 2 Christmases. Merchandising grossed over $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
That's how big Power Rangers was. In that amount of time,
I would have never thought that.
No, everybody wanted it. Everybody.
Power Rangers are still that big. I mean, I remember my nephew, who is, oh man, he's in 6th grade. So what is he? He's like, I don't know, 11, 12. I don't know. I get confused. Okay. It's one of those.
Right.
I think he's 12. Okay. No, he's 11. He's 11. Whatever. Anyways, and he loved them when he was, growing up and stuff. And he still likes them today. I mean, he doesn't watch them all the time, but even his mom, right, who is, my sister, she watches them. I watch them. I grew up watching them. So they're still really big today.
Even as big as it was back then, nobody would have thought 25, 26, now 20, going on 28 years later, it would still be. There's no way.
Yeah.
Haim Saban.
Wow.
It took Haim Saban 5 years to get a network to pick it up. He had the rights to the American version of the shows for 5 years and peddled it to the studios, and nobody wanted it. Nobody knew what to do with it.
Mm.
But because Fox was coming out with their Fox Kids brand, he had sold them something else. I want a cartoon of some sort. I don't remember exactly what. And they were like, well, what else have you got? And he's kind of like, well, okay, here, nobody else has ever wanted it, but here, take a look at it. And they looked at it and were like, well, it's superheroes, boys and girls, but it's kind of transformery, but it's kind of, dinosaur. Yeah, let's try it out and see what happens. And then just because nobody had ever seen anything like it in this country, really.
Very nice. Now, from my understanding, you're actually going to be at Beaumont Comic-Con with 2 other Power Rangers.
That is correct.
And
in
2
2
awesome
weeks.
hosts and co-hosts
2
of Con Hour.
Yes, 2 weeks from today. I won't be there Friday night, but I will be there all day Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and 17th. I was kind of surprised. First of all, Greg, thank you for introducing me to Clint so I could approach him to appear as a guest at the show. I was kind of surprised when I found out then that the other 2 big guests he got were also Power Rangers. So that was kind of like, whoa, okay, I guess we're doing a Power Ranger theme show. But it's nice because again, you have me, who is, an OG, season 2 and 3, they're pretty much from the beginning. And you've got Justin Nimmo, who was from In Space, who was, a few years after that. And then we also got Liana, who is Roxy from Beast Morphers, which just finished up, the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
So, got a good mix.
Definitely. And we definitely look forward to definitely seeing everybody there. And remember, guys, Beaumont, if you want to get your pre-orders for our shirts, talk to us. We're going to be there. And with the costume acting, I mean, when you read the script, because you weren't really talking much, so it was just basically descriptions of what you were doing or what you were supposed to be doing.
I still had lines, and what made it difficult for me compared to everybody else, because I had an open face costume
I
had to have makeup on. I had to actually deliver the lines pretty much as they were written, because someone's going to come on afterwards and dub over the voice, because they had a voice actor, obviously, for all of season 1 before I even, came near the costume.
Mm.
Everybody else, however, had full faces on. You couldn't see their mouths move, so they could be a little different with what they said, shall we say. It was kind of a game to see. Let's see if we can make Steve laugh this time.
I was going to say, was there a lot of behind-the-scenes bloopers on those?
Oh, plenty.
I would be that way.
I would be too.
What I will say is this: the gentleman that was in Lord Zed's outfit, gentleman by the name of Ed Neal, he never called Finster by the name Finster. He used a different word. It sort of kind of rhymed.
Gotcha.
It's not, it's not R-rated. It's more PG-rated, unless you're in biology class, and we'll leave it at that. So yeah, it was always being silly. As far as the movement itself, it was hard because the feet were so much bigger. Even though I had to have a certain size shoe to fit the costume, the feet are big. A lot of the monsters you can't see very well out of the other costumes. So you're literally, you have tunnel vision. You can't look down and see steps. Like they had the steps up to the balcony where Rita would throw her staff or Zed would throw the bombs. It was actual steps up there. And and it would be, you slide your foot until you hit the riser and okay, I'm on the step. And so if you look at it closely, the movement was very awkward for all of the monsters.
I'm klutzy as it is, so that would not go well with me. I would probably put on those stairs more times than I could count.
I guess I would describe it as maybe trying to ride a horse, because you have to spread your legs out far enough so you don't actually step on your own feet.
That happens too. I mean, or you're used to when you even when you get up from a chair, when you're just in a regular actor, not a suit actor. When people get up, you kind of lean forward, you put your head down a little bit. Well, that doesn't work on camera. You can't do that. So you have to physically go almost straight up. And it's awkward at first until you get used to having to do that just because it needs to look good on camera. So
that feels like it could hurt the back some.
Doing things.
I would think so. It kind of like, trying to stretch my back thinking about it.
It got to stretch
that
now.
Subliminal message makes you want to go.
Now, what was more fun about being in costume, as I said, it was the original costume from the Japanese Sentai show. Because the costume was so old, they used to have to make the costume camera ready the night before. Basically, camera ready means it looks good to be filmed in front of the camera. They would patch any of the rips and tears and paint over it and freshen up the paint every night before I was going to get into it.
Wow.
Now, one particular time we were on location at Griffith Park. They had patched a hole in the right wrist, and they had patched it a little too much. The whole costume was one piece except for the head and the feet shoes. So I had to step into it from the back, stick my arms all the way through. My fingernails are on the end. Somebody zips up the back of the costume. So I'm stepping in the costume. The first time that day, I have to force my right hand into the costume because the patch is too tight. And I said, hey, guys, just a heads up. When it comes time to take the costume off, probably going to rip because I'm going to have to force my hand back out of it. And they're like, okay, great. Thanks for telling us. You're not getting out of the costume until we're done for the day.
Okay, now see, the female in me thinks about that and think about the bathroom, and I'm like, how do you get in and out of that to go to the bathroom?
Well, that was the first thing I said, guys, what if I have to go to the bathroom? They're like, well, try not to. But if you do have to.
So you had to dehydrate every day, or what?
They said it was just for the one day. They said, because we can't have you pulling your wrist out and ripping it because we have no way to fix it on location. We don't have, can't go run down to the prop room or to the artist people and say, hey, quick, patch it again real quick. There was no way to do that. So they would unzip the back. I would kind of hunch my shoulders forward, and they had a big fan blowing on me anytime I wasn't in front of the camera. And again, it's outside. It was about 80 degrees. So, a little warm for LA, certainly not Houston humid, but in the costume, it's about 25, 30 degrees hotter. So it's like 100 something degrees in the costume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so bad enough. I got to sit there. I can't,
And now you can't go to the bathroom.
Most of the day. Can't go to the bathroom. Lunchtime comes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
The hand on the costume, the fingers were about this long. I couldn't pick up a knife and fork or spoon to feed myself.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, okay, guys, now what? I said, what am I supposed to do with that? I can't. They're like, get one of the PAs to help you.
Oh, you needed hazard pay for that.
I literally had somebody cutting my food and feeding it to me.
Oh my gosh.
Because I got stuck in the costume.
Yeah, you needed hazard pay for that day. Goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be nice. Except they probably didn't give them hazard
Probably
pay.
not.
No.
I'm just saying.
No, what I got paid back in the day, and as what they call background or an extra, the kids in the hallway or the kids in the juice bar in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, extras got what was called 40/8, meaning you got $40 for 8 hours, but it's an 8-hour minimum. You show up for set and they said, oh, sorry, Greg, Amy, CJ, we don't need you guys today. Go home. You still got your $40. You still got your day's pay.
Yeah, I'm out. You ain't got to tell me twice. I'm over here for an hour. All right. I'm out.
Now, California law says anything over 8 hours is going to be overtime, even if it's the first day of the week. So hours 9 and 10 is time and a half. Hours 11 and 12 is double time. Anything over 12 hours is triple time. So you work a 14, 16-hour day on set, which happens sometimes. Even as an extra, you're making okay money. Once they picked me to be in the costume, I became what was called a special extra.
Oh.
Because I needed a special costume or makeup, and even though I delivered lines, I didn't get credit for that. They had a voiceover because I was had to do something more than just show up in jeans and a t-shirt and walk down a hallway. I got special extra pay, which was 75 over 8. So it worked out to like 9 something an hour, which wasn't bad. It's about what I was making on my regular job that I would just take off for and use sick days and vacation days and then finally unpaid days because I didn't want to work in a mailroom for the rest of my life, but I would have acted for the rest of my life had the opportunity arisen. So I was doing that, and, a 14-hour day doing that, which happens, is some good money. And then on top of that, you realize there's a catering truck on site that feeds you breakfast and lunch. They pack up and leave after lunch, but if you're working real late, PAs go buy food somewhere and bring that back for the cast and crew. So you get fed while you're there.
So that definitely helps with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And back in the 90s, that was actually pretty good money back then.
Yeah, 93, 94, 95 when I was doing, I mean, 9 something an hour and you're getting fed. Yeah, it was worth it.
Of course, now we're saying our age.
For real. So you were on for 2 seasons, you said?
Yes, all of season 2, all of season 3. Basically, when they brought Lord Zed on to be the head villain and got rid of Rita, that's me in the costume the whole time. There was one day I was late to set because I woke up late and back before cell phones.
Yeah.
I had no way to contact them. Hey, I'm running late. I'll be there, 5:45. Well, they had to grab another extra that happened to be there and said, well, we need you to get in the makeup real quick. And I get there and they're like, oh, well, sorry, we had to fill you in. We didn't know what was going on. I said, well, is there anything else I can do? Like, well, we can put you in a putty costume because we had
you locked
one of the putties to get in your costume. I mean, realistically, could I tell you what scene he did? I don't even know if whatever he filmed got used because from watching the show, I can tell when it's me. One, because, I did.
You did it.
I remember the lines. I remember the scenes. I have most of it. But like a lot of times, like even just looking through pictures on the internet. Well, the first season, it's a lot of stock footage from the old Japanese show. Unless someone's on location and then they had to put somebody in the costume. And that happened a few episodes here and there. But basically, season 2, season 3, it's me. And I can tell looking at pictures, oh, yeah, that one's definitely me, that one's not. And it's I've kind of run into that a couple times. Like when I do appearances at conventions, people want to promote me with pictures. And I'm like, that's the original Japanese actor. That's not me. And they'll be like, oh,
oops.
Who's going to know?
Well, one question I want to ask, which I don't think I've asked yet, or I haven't heard the story, but how did you get picked? Did you audition? They just say, hey, we want you?
All right. I wish it was that involved. Here is the real story. I was taking acting classes in Orange County, California, and had a young woman in our class come in one day and said, hey guys, I just signed up with this extra agency. They had actual agencies that handle the background and the extras for movies and TV. And she said, and they're looking for people that look like they're of high school age to be on this new show called Power Rangers. Okay. This was, I believe, a Tuesday. I went down Wednesday to sign up with the agency. They called me Wednesday night and said, we need you Thursday and Friday on set to do a couple episodes of Power Rangers as an extra. Okay. Studio calls me and says, hey, do you want to be a regular extra? Or we need 3 kids to be in detention with Bulk and Skull. We need 3 kids that were, they called them punks or bad kids. I said, I'll do that because that's something that I know if I get to be on the show, I'll know if there's only 3 of them, I should be able to see myself on TV. That was the goal. So I get in, I wear a denim jacket and, kind of rip the jeans a little bit and work boots, sitting in detention. But because I'm only in that detention scene, they don't want the punk kids walking around the rest of the hallway. So I was sitting around most of the day. at one point, someone came out and said, hey, we need someone that's going to fit this costume for Baboo. So we need someone that's about 5'9" with a size 10 shoe. They try it on one other kid first. He gets in it, and they're like, nah, no, it doesn't look like it fits you right. Steve, why don't you try it on? Okay. I try the costume on, zip it up. It feels pretty good. I can move around in it. It's not too tight. It's not too loose on me. They try the head on. Okay, the head looks good. They said, well, again, no glasses, no beard, high school kid, you know. They said, well, how are you with makeup? I said, well, I've done theater before, so I've done stage makeup. That I'm okay with having makeup on. They said, okay, great. We need you to shoot Tuesday. We'll give you a call Monday night to tell you where and when. Okay. Again,
They tell you were basically going to be a Smurf on crack or anything?
Pretty much. So again, I just found out. I just signed up. I've been on set. I haven't watched the show. I have no idea what the show is, what it's about. I just know it's kid superheroes, and I'm going to be a monster. And that first scene was actually on location. We filmed at Zuma Beach. And as I was saying, that was a scene where Squat and I dig up the evil power coins that turned some of the putties into evil Rangers, which never aired and never made it to the final cut. They wanted me there at 8 o'clock. I spent a little over an hour in makeup and literally it was light blue from, here to my lip line, dark blue here, red lipstick, a little bit of white around my eyes. That was it. Took an hour. Get on. We shoot the scene. They tell me, no, not that kind of monster. Funny, goofy. Okay. Boom. Done. 3 hours later, I'm done for the day. Already eaten. Got paid $75 for 3 hours worth of work.
Not bad.
Getting ready to leave. So I'm in the trailer. I'm washing up, trying to wash all the blue makeup off, as much of it as I can. Because I don't want to,
look like a Smurf.
Driving down the freeway. No. And I said, guys, that was great. If you need me again for this monster, let me know. They're like, what are you talking about? I said, well, I don't know if you need this monster or if there's other monsters you have in mind. They're like, no, this is a regular character on the show. You're it.
Wow.
So literally,
then.
I was in the right place at the right time.
And you were the right size.
And I was the right size.
So it was basically really just fell into place.
Exactly.
We keep hearing stories like this when people ask you how you got started. You, Mustafa Massa, Matt Hawkins, and it's just like you keep hearing these people that are just in the right place at the right time, and it just there it is.
It can be mind-blowing at times because it's like just there, like she said, there it is.
It is.
There it is.
The most important ability is availability.
Yeah. And you have to make yourself available for something like that for sure. Yeah.
I mean, again, I had a regular, 8 to 5 job. I didn't know how they were going to be about, hey, I need to use sick days for this. I need to use my vacation time for this. They were all excited about it. They were happy with it. When I got to be, hey, I'm taking an unpaid day. I got to go film. And they were like, okay. They were really cool about it until not quite the very end. But when they were filming the movie, they filmed the movie in Australia. Well, they got very behind on filming. It ran way longer than they thought it was going to. So they started writing bigger parts for the monsters because they were having them film some scenes there for the TV show as well as doing the movie because they've got all these episodes they got to crank out.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they said, hey, we need you for 2 weeks straight. Now I'm out of vacation time. I'm out of sick time. I worked in the mail room, file room at where I worked. Well, the main file clerk was out on medical leave. The guy that helped me in the mail room had a family emergency back east. He had to fly out for it. They said, you can't. We cannot have you. We can't let you leave. There's nobody here to fill in or to cover. And I'm like, yeah, but it's acting. Like I said, I'm not going to work in a mail room for the rest of my life. I literally filmed the 2 weeks. I went back to work the following Monday, walked in and went, here's my keys, here's my badge. I understand. And they're like, we don't want to do this. I said, I get it. You have to. I made a choice, and I filmed for quite a few months more after that, hoping it was going to lead to something else. And I did audition for a lot of other things that Never got picked for. I did some other extra work besides Power Rangers. I was a cop on Days of Our Lives for a couple of episodes. I was an intern on ER for an episode.
Oh, neat.
That was the best. Because
do you ever get starstruck yourself? I'm thinking of the cast of like ER, and I'm like, I would be I would be on the gurney because I'd keep passing out in front of some of these.
Well,
guys.
then you'll love the
I
story.
mean?
So here it comes. The scene I'm filming. It's a couple of years into the show, so not from day one. But who's the big star on ER?
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Of course.
Yeah.
So the scene I'm filming is with George Clooney.
And Goose from Maverick. I'm just saying.
Well, he was supposed to be the original star, but because he kind of got overshadowed by George Clooney.
Which is okay. You know, that's okay. I'm all right with it.
I'm sure a lot of people were. I don't know how happy he was with it.
Well, I know. I'm sorry that he was unhappy. But...
The scene I'm filming, it's two interns, me and another guy. There's a kid laying in a hospital bed because George Clooney was the pediatric doctor at the hospital. And they said, George is going to come in. He's going to say a couple of lines to the kid. Then he's going to say, okay, boys, wheel him out. And that was our cue to push the bed out through the door, turn the corner into the hallway. They'd yell, cut.
I'd run him into the doorway on accident.
They had us practicing running him through the door, moving the bed. Oh, well, it happened. It does happen. Not that the stuff that happens on
if George
set,
Clooney's standing there, I'm going to be watching George Clooney, and the poor person's going to get run into the doorway. I'm telling you right now, that's what happened.
Well, so we practice moving the bed. Director says, okay, we're good. They call George Clooney. All right, call George on the set so we can film the scene. You know, he's in his dressing room doing whatever until they need him. He comes out. Now, besides myself and the other gentleman extra, there's about 10 other extras that are, hanging out behind the camera, because that's one of the perks of being an extra on a movie or TV show is you get to see how the movie's made. You get to see things most people don't see. You're behind the scenes. George Clooney comes out, I kid you not, walks up to everybody there. Hi, how you doing, George Clooney? What's your name? Hey, cool. Hey, thanks for coming down here. Hey, appreciate you coming. Said hi to everybody, shook everybody's hand, was talking and joking with them. Yes, that was me on Facts of Life, however many years ago. It just proves to show that anybody can make it in this business. And they were like, George, come on, man. It's time. We got to film the scene. Let's get going. So he's like, okay. I mean, he doesn't want to leave the fans. The fans are all like, this is the best thing in the world. I got paid to meet George Clooney. Yeah, comes up to us. The way the scene was blocked, I'm at the head of the bed and the other gentleman's at the foot of the bed. Unfortunately for him, unfortunately for me. And the final cut, you can see I'll do it with this, my shoulder. That's about all you see of me.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
The guy at the end of the bed, George says, what was your name again? And I'm not going to remember, but I'm just going to say Brian. So he goes, okay. Instead of him saying, okay, boys, wheel him out, he says, okay, Brian, wheel him out.
Oh.
So you weren't even there. It's like you were a ghost.
And I'm like,
interns need love too.
Exactly. So then I'm desperate. I'm like, come on, I need to see myself on screen. It was one shot where I'm way in the background pushing like a supply cart across the hallway. I'm like, okay, okay, now I know I was there.
Oh man.
Did extra work for a movie called Panther, which was about the Black Panther movement in the early 70s, directed by Mario Van Peebles. Great guy. Enjoyed him very much. That's about the only thing I've done on camera that you get a good shot of me. And again, it was as an extra. There's a scene where I'm buying one of the red books from one of the Panthers, and just as he's delivering a line was the timing of it all. So I mean, it's a profile headshot of me for the whole, for this scene. And I'm like, see, I really do act. It really is me. People go, I can't tell. Is that really you with the makeup? Yes, it's me.
So what?
Blue in my hair? Come on.
What did you do when you weren't acting then?
I worked at the Anaheim Visitor and Convention Bureau. Basically, I worked in the mailroom of the bureau. I was going to
say, earlier you said you didn't want to be a mailroom person for the rest of your life, and yet you're a mail person for the rest of your life.
It was in the mailroom. That's what I did then. That's what I was doing then. You want to know what I do now?
Sure.
Okay. Well, what I do now is I'm a heavy equipment operator at the oil and gas plants and chemical plants.
Very cool.
Basically, I run
Nice.
heavy duty forklifts. I can run a bobcat, a loader.
So, do your coworkers know your acting past, and what do
Yeah,
they think?
I mean, I don't come in advertising from day one. Hey guys, you're working with a celebrity now. No, but as I get to know people
Yeah.
and they start talking about stuff, or they'll hear me on the phone talking about, oh yeah, I got a show coming up, or if I have to ask, hey guys, I can't work this Saturday, I got a show, and they're like, you have a show? What are you doing? Oh, God, yeah, I haven't told you guys yet because I just started here 2 months ago. Yeah, this is me, and they're like, no. Got the phone. Yeah, here's my banner at the booth. Here's me at the booth. Here's the, yes, that was me. I did it for 2 years.
So, how many more shows do you have left for this year?
Well, obviously Beaumont is in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't officially been announced, but there's a 1-day show I'm doing in December.
I
Mhm.
bet
You'll
you
know
know
what
which one
it
it
is,
is.
but
I'll
until
bet
it's
you know which
officially
one it
announced,
is.
until it's announced by the person running it.
Mhm.
Yep.
Person, yeah.
Very cool.
So I don't want to say anything about that one, but that hopefully will be coming soon. And I am trying to get into one more that's in mid to late November. That would be it for this year.
So, people who want to have you as a guest in their Comic Cons, how do they get a hold of you to do that?
They can contact me directly. My Facebook is just Steve Andreno.
Mhm.
And so you don't get confused with my father, who oddly enough happens to have the same name. My little character logo is a Baboo Pog. So, I mean, it says Baboo on there, but it's a cartoon version, so you know it's me. I do have an Instagram and Twitter, which are both at Baboo Real, REAL.
Okay. I tried tagging you on Twitter earlier, but I couldn't.
I
get that.
couldn't either.
No, that's
I
fine.
should have typed in Baboo.
That's it. Yeah, to be honest, I'm really bad. I'm not great at social media. I'm okay. I'm going on Facebook because I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. I don't have, I work 10-hour days. I'm up at, I'm at work at 6, ready to work. So I'm getting up at 4 something in the morning. So by the time I get home, I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to, no, I just want to veg for a little bit and then get some sleep.
So, kind of on
I
average,
do have-
how many? I would say, sorry.
Okay. I do have an Etsy store,
Mhm.
which is
we did post.
Monsters Need Love Too, which is all one word. I do have the shirts available for sale there, $15. And I do have, if you can't make it out to any of the cons for whatever reason or wherever you live and you really want an autograph that badly, I can mail it out to you. I'll customize it, I'll personalize it to you if you want anything in particular on it. I had one gentleman who ordered one who wanted the first line of Baboo from the first episode.
Which was what?
All right, so you've seen when they do the opening credits, after 10,000 years, I'm free. Rita breaking out of the garbage can, dumpster, as they call the day the dumpster. Well, the first thing that Baboo says to her is, "Evilness, let me help you." And then he goes, "Walk with me, talk with me." And he was goofy. He was.
So you were like a monster on LSD, like monster meets
Yeah, there you go. That
Teletubbies.
works.
Was that what we're looking at?
Pretty much.
No,
I
CJ,
just saw.
Hey, hold on.
I just saw.
I want to know CJ's LSD stories because she's opened that door. Like, we knew all about it, so obviously we're opening the door.
I promise
I'm
you,
laughing
I have
because-
never had it.
I'm laughing because I saw Amy dancing while Steve was down there singing.
I'm listening to this conversation. I just don't think, my nasally is super appealing, so I'm, keeping it to myself. I'm enjoying it myself. But no, I had to comment when CJ was like, you were like, oh, CJ, what did you say? You said something on LSD, and I was like, oh
Monster
my
on
God.
LSD.
Monster on LSD
Walking
or
over there.
Monster meets Teletubbies.
Yeah,
Oh,
Teletubbies. I never
oh,
watched Teletubbies. They scared me.
Now
They
those
are
were
scary. They're creepy.
those were scary.
Oh my gosh, yes, they
And they're
were.
supposed to be for kids. I'm like,
My
okay.
kids,
They
Oh.
I watched a couple just to
my
kind
kids
of,
loved it.
yeah. They stole a ball, and then he took the ball and he put it down and he stole somebody else's TV. Put that down and sold somebody else. I'm like, what is this teaching kids exactly?
Well,
Yeah.
now to be
And there's
you
this
yell- and you yell at the
creepy
vacuum
baby
cleaner.
in the sun that's
Yeah.
just laughing, and I'm just like,
well,
were
to
they
be
on
fair,
something when they made this and created it?
Barney scared
And this
me
weird,
too.
Oh, Barney! Don't even
and
get
this
me
weird
started on
pink
Barney.
custard that they eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but
Yeah, I
that's
don't-
just as weird
I
as
don't know.
Barney.
Mark
He
Hamill
goes and
drinks
hangs out
blue
with that
milk.
dinosaur.
Blue milk? What's blue
Well-
milk?
You've never heard the blue milk?
No.
Oh man,
Star Wars.
What's blue
you need to
milk?
go back to Star Wars.
Oh my
Blue milk is the
goodness.
drink that he drinks. You really got to understand
Well,
the
that
blue
just
milk
doesn't-
concept.
Yeah.
What were
I've
people
got them all pretty
thinking?
much memorized in Star Wars, but I have no idea about the blue milk.
Yeah, you'll understand it later.
Oh, that
Okay.
just doesn't sound appealing. Like
No.
almost as bad as hanging out with Barney. Like who hangs out with dinosaurs? Who lets their kids go hang out with a purple dinosaur?
And if you notice, there are not a lot
Power
of
Rangers,
adults
hello?
there.
The Power Rangers
Hello.
War Dynasty.
Thank you.
I mean, I get that, but
Star
I'm just
Wars.
saying, Barney was like, huh? What is it? What did he say? I love you. You love me. No, I don't. I don't
Yeah.
love you. Like, no.
There are a few
Yeah.
characters that I really don't like. Barney is one of them.
But
The
Barney
big
was
fat-
purple.
The big fat jolly man that comes in December creeps me out. Don't
Really?
even get me started on that one. Oh yes, I can give you
Santa
a rendition.
Claus?
There's you.
Yes. Yeah, he's creepy.
Santa?
He's a pedophile. He
Yelling.
lets
Oh
people,
my
he
God,
wants kids
is
to sit
yelling.
on their laps in order to tell them what they want. He spies on you because he knows when you're sleeping and he knows when you're awake. And he was kissing mom underneath the mistletoe. I'm telling you right now, he's the
Okay.
creepiest dude out there.
Girlfriend, don't be ruining Santa for me. I get to be Santa. Don't be ruining Santa for me. Because that was
He's
that is
just
very
all
much.
kinds of wrong and
You
creepy.
know,
I'm just
that's
telling
very,
you.
That's very.
Uh,
Oh,
Trevor
love
says,
that.
I hate you. You hate me.
I
Let's go
love
strangle
that.
a Teletubby.
Teletubby.
Yes, my super hubby.
Santa is awesome. I love me some Santa. He's jolly with rosy cheeks. Just jolly.
He's creepy.
I love it. I love it.
see what I get to deal with, Steve?
But here's the thing. The original, the Santa Claus, the St. Nicholas,
He
Or,
was a
you know,
good dude.
and punched out another priest,
Until then.
bishop at
Yeah.
one of the synods.
Yeah,
I mean,
Santa got Ralphie, man. He was just like, you want to say something? Let's go. You
You
know?
want a piece of me? I'll give you a piece of me.
Yeah, Santa was a bit on the wild side.
oh yes,
guys.
absolutely.
I love Santa. Santa is
Oh,
great.
wow.
Santa is wrong.
Wow.
Well, what can be wrong with Santa? I mean, he's in a
He's
red, white suit, black
He
belt.
makes kids
he
sit
wears a
on his
hat.
lap to tell them what they want for Christmas. Otherwise, if they do, they get a candy cane. I'm sorry, that's like a pedophile. He's
I mean, there
knows
have been
when
All
you're
right,
Santa-
sleeping.
so you guys,
He knows
promise
when
what
you're
to do
awake,
the next time
so
we
he's
see
like
Tuesday,
this
right?
creepy
We need to
spy
sit on her
thing.
lap and tell her what we want. And then
I'm
ask for
just-
candy. Okay.
No.
I didn't do this. The next time I see her and she's sitting, I'm gonna go sit on her lap. I'm like, DJ, I want a baby doll for Christmas. Can I have candy? I'm only gonna do it. Like
I'm gonna carry around a candy cane
it's
just for
Halloween,
you.
okay?
There
We
we
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's Halloween. Why?
Oh,
there has
my
been
God.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, so there's been a Santa horror movie.
There
that's been
has.
done.
Yes.
There has, man,
He's
and that one
creepy.
is it's creepy. That one is a creepy one, and I love it.
Did you
'cause
see
that's
the Supernatural of when Santa came down? He was one
No.
creepy dude in Supernatural.
no,
You got to
Nope.
see that episode. That
Well,
was
you got
like
Krampus, who's kind of like the evil version
Yes.
of Santa anyway.
Yes.
Ooh, you know
Yes.
that one is on Amazon. It's a series, and it is fantastic.
Really?
Throwing it out there.
Well,
It
How did
really
we go
is.
from Baboo to Santa Claus? I
it's-
can't remember.
I don't know
Well,
how you brought it up.
I mean, they are
I
both
know.
costume characters, so
I don't know how I did it.
Oh, because we were talking about Barney and Teletubbies. Don't even get
And
me started on
LSD
Teletubbies.
and Santa Claus and
I love
What about
Santa.
clowns, CJ?
oh, I'm okay with
What about
clowns.
clowns?
I'm okay with
You're
clowns.
okay with clowns?
I'm okay with clowns.
All right.
I don't like spiders. I don't do spiders. Yeah, the interesting.
Okay,
fact I thought
CJ,
of
wait.
before.
Are you okay? Are you okay with the It clown?
I don't do
Pennywise?
creepy well, so no.
It's
No,
a clown,
not so
though.
much.
I'm just saying, throwing it out there.
I
I'm
like
okay
Tim
with
Curry's
the good
version
clown.
better.
Yes.
Yeah.
The original It. Oh my gosh, that
Oh,
was so much
Oh, Tim
better.
Curry was
Yes, it
fantastic.
totally was. Yeah, it was so
I
much.
Yeah, no.
That's like the original
Tim Curry.
Halloween's. Yeah.
Trevor wants to know what your
Mhm.
favorite travel location was for shooting.
Okay. We had a few. The ones that I went to, Castaic Lake was close to the studio, so that was kind of a popular outdoorsy thing. My favorite was the water treatment plant, which was actually a garden. It's a water treatment plant in LA is actually a beautiful botanical garden as well.
Oh,
And that
okay.
was where
I'm
we
like
filmed-
thinking.
Yeah, and that I know that's what I was saying. That's where we filmed the Lantern episode where Squat and Baboo steal Adam's family's lantern and it gets turned into a monster.
A lantern turns into a monster?
You know, the little paper lanterns.
Yeah.
They turned anything could be turned into a monster. I mean, it was
Yeah.
whatever crazy story they could come up
And
with.
people said my brain was messed up.
That costume kind of looks like that. So, like one of the other monsters I did an appearance for was called Octophantom. Why? Because it looked like an octopus but had an elephant trunk. So Octophant, and then went just stick an
Who comes up with these things?
No idea. It was I had to be at Heim and
Are they
Shiki
eating the
Levy, and I don't know
brownies
who
too
else.
much when they're writing, or what?
But don't forget, they're working
I
off
don't
of what
understand. She makes all these references. I'm telling you, CJ is a wild child. She says she's not, but I mean, all these
We've gone from
she's
LSD to loaded brownies.
right. Oh my
I'm
gosh. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't know if anyone's picking up on these or just me, but I'm looking
I
at
am
CJ
innocent.
I have to be
As I
drug
straighten my
tested for
halo.
work. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm saying we should probably drug test CJ. Like, oh my gosh.
Now, a lot of people, I don't know if they're supposed to or not, but do you have anything from set that you were able to keep for like a souvenir?
I didn't keep any of the actual. Because the only souvenir I didn't have any props. Like I
Just
didn't have the bracelets or the coins or the morphers like the Rangers did. And some of them did keep it afterwards. I didn't have. I just wanted to keep all my sides and what they call the call sheets, which just has, basically, if you're on set the day before, they hand you a call sheet for the next day. This is who we need on set. These are the scenes we're filming. This is what time, location, if it's not at the studio. So I just kept that stuff.
So
I mean, I do have.
I'm going to ask a weird question, just because
I
curiosity
do.
wants to know, and curiosity tends to hit me upside the head. Did you? I mean, I'm a fangirl. I like a lot of stuff. I have no problem asking for autographs. Did you ask any of the Power Rangers and other actors to autograph your sides and your other stuff?
No, I never did then because I didn't know back then that Comic Cons were really a thing. We didn't, had I known, maybe I would have. But when I did meet up with several of the actors at the first con I did was in 2013 here in Houston for the now defunct Space City Con.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I ended up even being there as a guest was because I knew one of the gentlemen that put it on. He was actually went to church with me. My church was doing an oratorical festival, basically a little speech competition for the junior high school and high school age kids. Well, because he was doing the convention, as a reward for anybody that entered the competition, he gave him a free one-day pass to his con, which was coming up,
Very
in 6
cool.
months. Well, he had a flyer already printed out with, advertising the con, and these are some of the people that are going to be there. And it had a few of the actors I'd worked with. It was Steve Cardenas, Kat Sutherland, Karen Ashley, were the three that were on there, and Jason David Franklin might have been on there too. And of course, my kids hand that to me, and I'm like, oh, they know that I did the show. I'm like, oh yeah, I worked with her, I work with him, I work with him. And they're like, okay. And my older daughter goes back to him and says, oh yeah, my dad worked with this one and this one. And he's like, what do you mean he worked with them? Oh, my dad was one of the monsters on the show. Really? Does he want to be at the convention? I mean, I'd never even been to a Comic-Con at that point. I've been to like baseball card shows, but that was about it. So he says, well, I'll get you a table. I said, okay, well, that's great. He goes, do you have anything you can use for pictures? And I'm like, I've got, one of my first days on set, I brought a disposable camera to set and had the PA take some pictures, and I took some pictures of other people. But again, it was the set with the monsters. It was on the moon base, so it was, you know, the Lord Zed costume and Squat and Goldar and Putties. Wasn't with any of the other actors, but I had a couple shots of myself, a group shot of me, Squat, and Finster, a shot of pretty much just me, and those are the shots that I use for my autographs.
I was going to ask, is that one of the ones that I have?
Yes, yeah, those are actual on-set behind-the-scenes pictures that
Very cool.
if you didn't get it from me, you've never seen it before. I don't even. I try not to even post those pictures online except on my Etsy store, of course, because you get to pick which picture you want for the autograph. But
so
that's
how
stuff
many
that
shows
no one else is going to have.
How many shows do you on average do a year?
Well, I did the one in 2013. Then I didn't do anything for a while. I did the Power Morphicon Express when I heard they were coming to Pasadena again, and got in touch with them literally a couple of weeks before the show was going to be here. And again, they squeezed me in. After that, I've only done like 3 or 4 other shows. I didn't get big into it. I should have gotten big into it right after the 2013. And as much as I enjoyed it, I just didn't follow up on it. I didn't, you know, again, I saw how excited everybody was to meet the Rangers, and everyone's kind of like, oh, who are you? Yeah. You know, some people were interested, obviously, and some are not, and that's fine. But I'm like, I don't know that this is lucrative. And I didn't know how it worked because I was invited last minute. You know, I didn't need a hotel. I didn't know that the cons would fly out a celebrity and pay for transportation and pay for a hotel and give them an appearance fee or a guarantee of how much they're going to. I never, you know, so I wasn't involved. I was just, I knew a friend, and because I knew some of the people that he already booked as guests, he kind of squeezed in a table for me as well. And, you know,
that seems to be a recurring theme for you lately.
It is. And my fellow actors were great. You know, oh my God, I haven't seen you. They were real happy to see me, and it was a good time. But I should have followed up with them then a little bit more to try to start doing it, but I didn't. Well, then all of a sudden, you know, I had a bunch of pictures made specifically for the show, and then, you know, whatever ones I sold, whatever ones I didn't, sat around the house for years. Like my wife's like, why do you even have those? Why do you keep them? You're not going to do anything with them. Well, every now and then, if somebody at work, you know, asks if I've got one, I'll do one for them. Well, then I heard about Power Morphicon Express. I got to that one. I used the same pictures that I had left over and did well at that. And then that's when I'm like, you know, this is a big thing. This is bigger now. And I see how long Rangers is still popular. I'm like, you know, I need to start doing this more. I was reaching out to people, but I'm doing it as myself. I didn't have a booking agent, and I didn't get a lot of responses back from people. Well, I did eventually, through, you know, one of my fellow actor Power Rangers alums, get in touch with somebody that was trying to book me for some things. I did get booked for a convention in Alabama in 2019, later in that year. That one, again, was a first-time show, did not do very well, and they didn't have one last year, and their website is now defunct, so I assume they're not doing them anymore. That was the only one I did what I would call an out-of-town show. And then my hometown of Dayton, Texas, you know, I was then at the end of 19, early 2020, COVID hit, so everything got shut down. So I'm like, great, now that I'm ready to do this and nothing's happening again. Yeah. But my little country town of Dayton announced back in November of last year that they were doing a convention here. And I'm thinking, you know, I've lived in Dayton for 15 years. And when I say it's country, I literally back up to woods. I'm in town and I back up to woods and could get lost back there if I veer off in a certain direction. So I'm like, why are they doing a convention here? And they're doing it at, you know, our little Dayton community. I'm going, this is, I laughed about it because I've gone to big hotels for conventions, or, you know, the Pasadena Convention Center in Pasadena is pretty big. So I'm going, this is not going to, I didn't think much about it. And then all of a sudden they're announcing they have Booker T booked as a guest, and then Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm going, okay, they've got some names. And I was a wrestling fan from the time I was, you know, I was like 8 or 9 years old. So I'm like, well, yeah, I'll see if I can get the weekend off from work, get that Saturday off. And I called them and said, hey, you know, do you guys still have room at the show? Would you want somebody? I'm local.
Yeah.
I'm in town. So again, and I live literally less than 10 minutes away from where, from the community center. And they're like, oh yeah, great, come on down. And I did that, and the show, much to my surprise, was a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
Did really well for Dayton, did really well for the other celebrities as well as myself. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Well, at that show was where I met Scott.
Yeah.
Comic Conroe, yep.
Put on Comic Conroe. So I was talking. He approached me and asked if I wanted to be at the show, and I'm like, well, yeah, absolutely. Didn't hear from him for a little while, and again, I reached out. Hey, we're getting kind of close to when your show is. Do you still want me there? He's like, oh yeah. Just come on down. And, I got the banner made last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I was a
the
last minute ad off to the side a little bit next to Greg, which is how I met. How I spent 2 days talking to Greg, and obviously I met you from running the show. Saw Amy running around as Spider-Gwen, and
then one thing led to
Greg
another,
introduced me to some other people, and now I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. I'm in the process of trying to get officially signed with a new booking agent.
Oh, good.
Realistically, if I could do 1 or 2 shows a month, I'd love it. If I could do it every weekend, I would do it.
Yeah.
So for those, we'll do one more hit on this. For those who want to get a hold of you to book you, how do they book you until you get your booking agent?
Easiest way is reach out to me on Facebook, which is just Steve Andreno, as it's spelled on the screen. And you'll see my profile picture is a little Baboo cartoon. On Twitter, at Baboo Real. On Instagram, at Baboo Real.
Cool. And they can go to your Etsy store to get your
my Etsy
Monsters
store.
Need Love Too.
Monsters Need Love Too, to get a T-shirt or an autograph that way as well. If you can't find me at a con. What I will say to anybody that's watching it that would love to meet me at their local con, whatever city, state that's in, most of the conventions on their webpage, they have contact us. They want to know who you want to see as guests.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys, a bunch of you say, hey, we'd like Steve Andreno, Baboo from Power Rangers to be a guest at your show.
He's a kick. You have to have
Yes.
They might reach
He
out.
will have you laughing the whole time, I promise you.
Definitely.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Hope I had you guys laughing for this one.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I'm super excited to see you in Beaumont. Can't wait.
Yes.
It'll be an awesome
Can't
weekend,
wait
and see your lovely wife as well.
Yes.
My roots are showing. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. He had to hide his New York Mets.
No looking at the mess. No looking at the mess. Well, I said I'm very and like I said, I'm a fan too. I'm a super nerd. I was a nerd before I did Power Rangers. I'm still a nerd now. I always will be. But I'm a little different. I mean, I'm a huge gamer.
No, you're original. You own that stuff.
I have an original ColecoVision.
Wow.
1982. Wow. I was always into sports. Always a sports guy. Not that I could play them very well, but I enjoy watching them. I used to be a baseball encyclopedia. I'm not anymore, but I'm still a huge sports fan. I like sci-fi and fantasy movies, so I like a little bit of everything. Music. I'm crazy about music, so I've got a lot of knowledge about a lot of. I've got a little knowledge about a ton of different things. But I could talk Power Rangers for hours just because.
There you go.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for taking this hour to enjoy talking to you. And like I said, I can't wait for Beaumont Comic Con to catch up to you guys again.
Yes.
And so those who are in the area, I will be at Tyler Comic Con next weekend. Me and Super Hubby and Chief and Sarge will be joining us. And
next Tuesday, we have Meg Halfdahl, horror author at all things. Of course, it's Spooktober.
Creepy-tober.
And then after that, we have Ghost Talk with psychic medium Elizabeth Harbin, and she'll be bringing her partner, Dr. Chuck Murphy, and we're going to be finding out some really interesting stuff about ghost hunts. So we're definitely looking forward to next week.
Alrighty. Well,
everyone,
we'll see y'all next Tuesday at 11.
Adios.